Hey everyone, Graph Paper Architect here, and today I had a fantastic tabletop thought that I want to share with you. It came from this tweet that I saw on my feed from Jack the Lost Lore Scholar. I recommend you check out his channel and tune in to Talking in the Library on Wednesdays. And it looks like it's a response to Brian's Nerdcognito, which is another great channel and podcast that I recommend that you check out and tune into that. The speakeasies are on every Saturday on Rumble, and I'm frequently, in there drinking with those a bunch. What do we got? We've got here that someone's talking to Ryan over on Nerdcognito. I always have a player who wants to be a noble and start the game with a massive business generating tons of passive income. Figuring the business has operated for X amount of years, therefore she would start with millions of gold pieces. And it looks like a good response here. Give them everything they want and then slay them. Jack says, no, better, fantasy, taxman, make them fill out all the forms and then spot the irregularities. Could you imagine that being your tabletop? Oh my goodness, you're sitting there and they get to, let's say, Betty's character. That's a nice name. And Betty, oh, yes, well, I know that I'm only a level 1, fighter, but I actually am a noble and I've been a baroness of my lands for 10 years now, so I have millions and millions of gold, and that's it. Okay, well, now everybody's going to sit there and wait while she role plays the king coming into town wanting his taxes, the peasants all lining up around the corners and down the hallways coming in for asking for help, and their crops have failed and they need her to give them some money, or maybe she needs to have a meeting with her knights and her guards as they come in to talk about the fact that they're trying to defend the land from the kobolds and goblins and whatever is going on. And because this is a noble and she's got a massive business. So is she a baroness? Is she not? Maybe she has, let's say, a business, that generates passive income. Let's think about that for a minute. If she's not a landlord, that would be the baron, which is passive income because they're collecting taxes, which is rent, right? Let's say that, maybe it's a import-export business, and it's passive income at this point because she's not actively managing or running the import-export, and ships are coming out, daily. And now at this stage in her career, she's able to hand it off to her general manager. And okay, cool. She's going to go adventuring. Doesn't have to be there every day to make sure that, the docks are being unloaded on time. Great. She's got tons of money. Now, what are you going to do with that? Let's think about that for a minute. And it actually sort of does fit with some of the original ideas of adventuring, if you think about it, because who were the adventurers? They were the knights. They were nobles. They had money. They were able to go out and slay dragons, and they had full kit of plate mail armor, and they had all this stuff. Well, a lot of that stuff cost money. Think about that for a minute. And then if you were a knight, a noble, you had lands that you had to take care of. You had responsibilities to your kingdom, and therefore you had, maybe some vassals, maybe some squires, some people to go out with you on your adventure, a wagon of hirelings that were going to keep you running while you're off killing whatever you're killing. It's an interesting thought. I don't think that it really means that you necessarily have to kill them right off, or that you have to make them have, trouble. But of course, you saw the thumbnail when you clicked on it. So we are going to talk about that. But I would like to start with that one aspect of it. Think about that. You have a player that wants to experience what it would be like to be Lara Croft, right? Millionaire. She's got all the money she could ever want, but instead she wants to, strap on some guns and jump around in tombs. Okay, well, there you go. She's got all of the resources. So of course she's probably has had a boat to the island. She's got her team of people that are working to make sure that she's got everything she needs. Or let's take another one, Batman, right? Classic. Billionaire, Bruce Wayne, Batman. Oh, sorry, spoilers for those of you that don't know. I don't think there's many of you out there, but let's see here. But he is dedicated to being Batman, and he has all of the resources, and he's got the money, and he's got all the toys. And where does he get all those wonderful toys? Well, we know. So that's what he's doing. And it makes it cool, right? That way you don't have to worry about it. You're not having to have that be part of the story. You know, it's not following along, let's say, poor Peter Parker, who is just trying to make rent and going, wow, I just don't even know, how he's going to do it. I know that's Marvel, and we're talking about tabletop, but Marvel is a tabletop game, so you could have that in your Marvel tabletop game. Let's go back to the good old original, though, fantasy. And in that genre, let's imagine that we have our adventurers. You're an adventurer, and they want to go out and they're going to be do what they're going to do. How are they getting any kind of money? They grow up and they are 18, 19, 20. They're in their 20s. Have they ever had a job? Have they had any way to raise the money in order to buy the equipment that they need to then go out on an adventuring life? Is that how you're running it? Or are you running it that they are just who they are and they become adventurers because that's how life hands it to them? Are we talking Joseph Campbell? Are we talking, how did they become the adventurers that they become? This one here is a very interesting idea of how they become an adventurer. They are somebody who has it all. They're, a princess, and she wants to get the hell out of there. She's like, you want to marry me off to fat schlub Baron Harkonnen, blah, 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 because you want to save your kingdom? And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm out. So she's got all the money, and so she becomes an adventurer, and she hires all the people, changes her hair color. Let's say she goes down to the witch or the wizard or whatever and changes herself to look differently so that throw them off the trail. But now she still retains her money somehow. She's got some people that know her, that she really is who she is, and she's going to go out and do this stuff. And maybe it's cool. Maybe it's just totally awesome that she just has these resources and knows this stuff, and she's part of the party. And maybe she just plays it cool. Like, I'm just a cool adventurer, but I just happen to have, maybe she has a little boost. Maybe she's got just a +1 ring or a +1 sword, or her armor's a little nicer, or her stuff is a little cleaner, and, or she's able to, somehow she's always able to just foot the bill, but not too much. They go out and crash and bash and kill the ogres and everything, and their gear is wrecked, their wagon is toast, and everything's just messed up. And then you get in there and you find out that the ogre's treasure was a whole bunch of dead animal bones, because they are ogre sculptors, and their idea was that they were going to go in and they wanted to build a statue effigy to their god, and they needed cow bones. So they started raiding the countryside and killing all the cows of all the farms of everywhere they get all the cow bones that they could possibly have to build this massive statue. And therefore, that's the problem. That's why they had to be wiped out. The adventuring party goes and does that. And it turns out, yeah, the ogres are actually just starving artists that just have cow bones. And now you're done. That's it. End of the adventure. You are totally broke. You might as well be sitting there at the table with Valeria passed out on your shoulder, and you're just like, head in the gruel. Done. You don't have any money. Great. Well, maybe your secret wealthy noblewoman rogue or whatever she is, fighter, something, princess, just is able to go, what, that's cool. Well, I'll just buy it, get everybody some new gear and new stuff. And when they ask her, how in the world, what is going on? Why did they, oh, well, back in the day, I did these folks some favors, and so they're going to just give us the stuff. She's lying to them. That's fine. But it's like, maybe that's how it's playing out. It depends, I think, on how the player is going to play. Is it going to be a problem? Or is it going to be cool? You can make just about anything freaking cool if your players are cool, you know. Now if she wants to play the and oh, I can buy my way out of everything, and I start the game with, you know, the ultra full mithril plate and a +10 sword, and you know, she's got a wagon train of servants and all of the things, and you know, because she has all of this money and that's how they want to play it. Well, then you could think about the dark side if you wanted. Let's go ahead and go down to the dark side, right? What loves treasure? What can smell it from miles and miles and miles away? Ooh, I think it's in the name. I think it might be in the name. Dragons. If this player wanted to go out and say that they are in a mithril coated ultra wagon of doom because they have millions and millions of gold already and they just have all the best gear possible, well, how many ancient dragons are going to start lining up for that feast? Yum, yum, yum. Let's go. And it doesn't have to be combat. They don't have to just come in and go straight at them. If I were a dragon, right? Maybe I am. Never know. I would think about it and go, well, I could polymorph. I could get into this person's good graces and get them to think about, well, hey, what's going on? You know, because maybe I want to know where all this stuff is stored. That's the other thing to think about, is that, you know, this is a fantasy role-playing setting. That means that everything is actual physical treasure at some point, right? This isn't, you know, where you've got Fort Knox and they give us pieces of paper that represent gold, right? There's got to be actual gold somewhere, or are they maybe just, it is like what we're doing here, and I mean, there isn't any actual gold. But, you know, the dragon's going to want the gold. We'll be like, I really want the actual piles of gold. So let's get in here and let's get with the party. Let's become the party's best friend and go and help them with their adventures, and then get in with this noblewoman. And they're like, hey, you know what? You know, how about you start telling me who you are and what's going on, and weaseling things in there, and then finding out, oh, well, that's where she's really from. And that's where the gold is. Okay, cool. Now I know where to go and get it. Because let's say it's buried so well that they couldn't smell it. Who knows? You know, there's a myriad of ways that something like this could be handled. Tons of different stories and ideas that immediately come to mind. I really do like taking things and giving them a dark twist. That's a little bit part of what I'd like to do. Sometimes I will have parties and the players will win. Great. You got your +1 sword now. You got your +2 sword. You get your +1 ring of, you know, protection. You have saved the kingdom. You now have your helmet of true vision, or a tankard of ever flowing. And then that's great, because you know what's happening with that tankard of ever flowing. I'm taking that down to the bar and I'm like, let's go. Put the Guinness in my tankard. Excellent dwarf treasure. Yeah. and they win. Or you get people like this. Maybe they want, oh, I just gotta have everything, and they have everything. Okay, well, now we're gonna put a little bit of dark twist on it. You go ahead. You have your millions of gold, but there's a curse that if you don't spend so much of it within a certain amount of time, you're going to lose it all. That was a good movie. There's an Easter egg for you. This is where I'm going with the, you know, our tabletop thoughts for today. I hope that you've enjoyed this little bit of a meandering ramble. I'm not quite finished, but, you know, we've been in it for a while. Please hit the, you know, like, subscribe, the bell, do all the things. I really would appreciate it. Help build out things. And we'll go ahead and talk for a moment about a couple of things going on in our scene right now. We've got, one of them is Richard Witters has now launched Rudiger's on BackerKit. And he's not a sponsor. I just talked to him and I like him and we get along. So I want to help everybody know. Go to BackerKit, check out Rudiger's. It's totally awesome. And here's a perfect example of something that you could do in that game. Of course, it's a completely new tabletop game system and it's a lot of fun. Go check it out and give him a back. Let's say that you've been a Rudiger, and so you've taken some jobs and you have made some scores and you've got some money, and now you're going to go out and do some things. That's cool, right? You've got some passive income coming in. sort of like would keep you in an area, though, wouldn't it? Let's say that you, every so often, you have to ride back into your town where you have your properties and talk to your barons and go, hey, where's my rent? Where's my taxes? What's going on? Give me some money. I need to go back out onto the trail and kill some more ogres and things. And I need some bucks because I've got to pay for this stuff. It's got to pay for itself. So a lot of times maybe the adventuring just isn't paying for itself. Maybe that's cool. Great. So they do have a passive business income. Yeah, I know. We circled back, right? Circled back around. Or they get it and it has the dark twist. You know, I love that. The classic. You now have the sword, but this particular sword is cursed. You can't give it away. You can't get rid of it. It's going to stay with you until either you have accomplished what this sword wants you to accomplish or you die. And let's say the sword wants you to do something pretty heinous. Come up with that idea. That's pretty fun. Give them what they want, but then give them a twist. And then with that twist comes another adventure. How are we going to get this cursed weapon? And it's not just, oh, let's go down to the shop and, you know, pay the wizard $50 and then, oh, we're going to decurse the item. Boom, done, you know. Make it something cool and epic, you know. They need they are then tempted to kill anyone that the sword feels offended by. And the sword is a ultra narcissist and is offended by just about everyone. So you go down to the tavern and the waitress is like, I'll be with you in a moment. And she's running around doing all the tables and the sword's pissed. What the hell? Why isn't she talking to us now? We were here before them. I think that person over there was here, you know, came in after us. Blah, blah, blah. Kill everyone. Kill them all. And you have to roll to keep yourself from trying to kill everyone. And if you fail your roll, then your party better jump on you and hold you down because you're going to freaking, you know, Hulk, rage, werewolf, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to flip out and kill everyone because now you failed and the sword is trying to get you to kill everybody. And so now that's part of your quest. How do you get this off of you? Well, then you've got to go and get the, you know, goddess of forgiveness to bless you with her ordainment. And so you need to do something that she wants you to go out and find a kingdom where they murder everyone. They're horrible. Their laws are so strict. You do anything and they murder you. But she is the goddess of forgiveness and she wants to get in there and start getting these people to forgive. And so she wants you, adventuring party, to go out there and deal with that. Get in there. You know, this is all off the top of my head. Hope it's something valuable to you. Ooh, we're a little over time. Alrighty, everybody, that's Tabletop Thoughts for today. I am the Graph Paper Architect. I hope you enjoy these thoughts. Thoughts are things I'm happy to share and want to give you some. So until next time, good journey. You couldn't see my hand. There's my hand. Yes, aha, good journey. Hey everyone, the Graph Paper Architect here, the Graph Paper Architect. Hey everyone, Graph Paper Architect here, and your tabletop top tap tap tip poo poo poo.